Let's reconcile meditation with politics. A good-hearted individual on Reddit asked, should I stop watching politics and leave heated debates? They went on to ask, anyone else feel like politics and debates only makes you lose mindfulness and leaves you drained? I've stopped debating with coworkers at lunch since I don't really see any point of it, for I only get agitated when I cannot convince the other party I'm right. I want to start watching news as well, but haven't gotten around to it yet. So now it's time for me to add my 2 cents. 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness. I wrote love and letting go, but my brain was controlled by aliens at the time. The peace that comes from divorcing us from the affairs of others is not true peace, but merely an analog. Kind of like one of those perfectly round tomatoes you buy on the vine at the store, and it looks like a beautiful tomato, but you sniff it and it doesn't quite smell like a tomato, and you slice it and it sure as hell doesn't taste like a tomato, but it looks like one. Yes, reconciling politics and peace is difficult. But to paraphrase former President John F. Kennedy, we do this thing because it is hard. What are we to do with turmoil? Our friend turmoil, the seat of turmoil, is in the basement of our brain, a region known as the amygdala. So how do we do battle with our friend the amygdala? How do we reconcile our amygdala? How do we bring peace? If our amygdala was a messy bed, how would we make it? Every time we breathe in, whether we know it or not, we access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It is evolved not for active concentration, but instead to merely notice and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. Additionally, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, which is ensconced within the same spinal cord, this time in the lower lumbar region and the tippy top of the cervical region. It has evolved to support our physical relaxation and our mental release. So noticing what we're feeling, regardless of how glorious or grotesque it may be, and then relaxing and releasing as if we were surfing it, gives us the peace we want. It frees us from the clutches of our fearful amygdala and helps us to relax into the bit of tissue a few inches behind our forehead, an area known as the anterior cingulate gyrus, which functions as the seat of empathy. I've had the good fortune to be taught that the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived. When at last we are freed from our controlling tendencies, our need to dominate and persuade and control others, our choices and our utterances and our deeds will flow from love's centered spontaneity. Not scattered spontaneity, but centered spontaneity. So when we find ourselves in conversation, we will not lose ourselves to our controlling tendencies. We will not lose ourselves to the jungles of rhetoric. When we speak, it will be from centered spontaneity. When we are silent, it will be from centered spontaneity. In doing so, we will do far less harm and feel far more love and peace. So the peace we want flows from love's centered spontaneity. The peace we want flows from our autonomic nervous system, from our practice of mindfulness and meditation, which ironically is fueled by the turmoil of politics. I look forward to meditating and chatting with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day every day studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of most schools of Taoism and all schools of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Regardless of babbling of elitists, mindfulness and meditation are known by many names, such as Satipasati, Proto-Zen, Chan, Dhyana, Mahamudra, Mahasandhi, Ati-Yoga, Dzogchen, and Trekcho. Regardless of what you call it, it's still mindfulness and meditation. About 100 years before the Buddha, Lao Tzu composed the 81 poems of the Tao Te Ching, in which we learn the phrase, the three treasures. Lao Tzu explained them, or at least according to different translators, explained them as simplicity, patience, and compassion. However, after the Buddha, Ancestor Wu reinterpret them as being Jing, or form, Qi, or breath, and Shen, or mind. So let's apply this to the Buddha's actual technique. There are two paths. We can follow the path of wicked Devadatta or virtuous Gautama. Devadatta's path is about being rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Gautama's path is about being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Focusing on our breath is rigid. Noticing whatever comes up in harmony with our breath is flexible. So we're going to use our inhalation and exhalation like the clicks of a metronome. For instance, during our inhalation, our mind could silently and mentally recite sitting tall, giving directions to our body. During our exhalation, our mind could recite relaxing, instructing our body to physically relax as best we can. To put a finer point on it, during each inhalation, sit as if you were generating a vertical traction between your tush and your head. Doing so, we will be working with breath and mind and form. Let's dig in. As we sit in meditation, no matter how beautifully we sit, thoughts are going to occur to us. That is not a problem. The problem is never the presence of perceptions or emotions or intentions or thoughts or memories or imaginings. The problem is what we do with them. Our job is not to repress them. Our job is not to indulge them. In Soto Zen, there is a saying, think, not thinking. So it's a mistake to say what we're supposed to do is think about not thinking. No. When we breathe in, we can notice, we are wired to notice the functions of mind. We're wired to notice perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. However, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, every time we exhale, we're wired to physically relax and mentally release. And when we do, whatever we noticed during the previous inhalation could feel less graspable and more as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. Let's shift gears from 3 syllables down to just 1. During our inhalation, our mind could recite the adjective tall in address to our body. During our exhalation, our mind could recite the verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax, once again in communication to our body. Now that we've reached contemplative cruising altitude, together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Luke Skywalker on Dagobah under the guidance of Yoda. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Please do not wait until the very end. Rather, strike while the iron is hot. Oh, pardon me. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Please do not wait until the end of the live stream. Instead, strike while the iron is hot. I check for questions approximately once every 9 minutes or so. Excuse me. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Please do not wait until the end to ask your question. Rather, strike while the iron is hot. As you breathe in, please silently and mentally recite the adjective tall as you straighten your posture, creating traction between your head and your tush. During each exhalation, please silently and mentally recite the verb ease, which is a synonym of relax, as you physically relax as best you can. Let's seal this evening's practice by chanting the Heart of Wisdom Sutra. It is said that Quan Chi and Pusa, an archetype of love and letting go, while moving in the deep peace of the perfect understanding of awareness and release. Shed light on the five aggregates and found them equally empty. After this realization, she made peace with all pain. Listen, Shariputra, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Form does not differ from emptiness, emptiness does not differ from form. The same is true with feeling of praise or impulse and awareness. Listen, Shariputra, all phenomena are marked with emptiness. They are neither produced nor destroyed, neither corrupted nor purified, neither increasing nor decreasing. Therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no appraisal, no impulse and no awareness that once perceived cannot be released. No sensation, no flavor, no scent, no sound, no sight, no phenomena that once perceived cannot be released. No body, no tongue, no nose, no ears, no eyes, no mind that once perceived cannot be released. No feeling, no tasting, no smelling, no hearing, no seeing, no noticing that once perceived cannot be released. No interdependent origins and no extinction of them. From confusion to aging and death that once perceived cannot be released. No stress, no confusion, no liberation, no path, no understanding, no attainment that once perceived cannot be released. Because there is no attainment that once perceived cannot be released, the Bodhisattva archetypes of awareness and letting go supported by the perfection of understanding, find no obstacles for that minds that once perceived cannot be released. Having no obstacles that once perceived cannot be released, they transcend the tyranny of fear. Liberating themselves forever from the tyranny of illusion, they realizing perfect nirvana. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future, thanks to this perfect understanding of noticing and releasing, arrive at full right and universal enlightenment. Therefore, one should know that this perfect understanding of noticing and releasing is like a great mantra, is like an unequaled mantra, the destroyer of the tyranny of all suffering, the incorruptible truth. A mantra Prajnaparamita's perfect wisdom of awareness and release could therefore be proclaimed. This is the mantra Gate Gate Parasam Gate Buddhi Swaha. Go completely and perfectly go to enlightenment, may it be so. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 hours, I look forward to... what's the word I'm looking for? Returning to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.